Have you ever had the feeling that some people seem to have discovered a secret code for making money so quickly and easily that it borders on the unbelievable? It may even seem ... illegal. But let me tell you something now, with all the clarity and candor of a man who built empires from nothing. If you think that making money quickly requires cheating, it's because you haven't yet learned to operate like the true architects of wealth. Most people are trapped in an illusion, the idea that getting rich is a slow process, full of red tape and dependent on luck. I built an empire in steel, without waiting for luck to knock on my door. I created wealth on an industrial scale, with brutal discipline, absolute focus, and a principle that few have the courage to apply: surgical efficiency combined with superior alliances. Right now, as you listen to me, there are opportunities before you that can generate wealth so quickly, so intensely, that it seems to defy the rules of the game. But they only reveal themselves to those with a trained eye, to those who have developed the mind of a builder. This video is your initiation into this new code of understanding. I'm not here to teach you how to make a few bucks. I'm here to transform your worldview, your mindset, and your ability to act with speed and power. You'll understand why most people chase dirty shortcuts while strategists build direct tunnels to abundance. You will discover why some simple decisions, taken with courage and precision, can yield what it takes the average person years to accumulate. And you will learn to master the art of transforming time, attention, and talent into capital at a speed that offends those who are still stuck in mediocrity. If you have the blood in your eyes to transform your life, and you're not just here out of empty curiosity, this mentoring will mark a turning point. This is where the construction of your new financial identity begins. But before we move on, do me a favor. If you feel that this voice is already planting a new pattern in your mind, subscribe to this channel. Not for me, for you. Because this will be the space where the codes will continue to be revealed. And you won't want to miss out. Now pay attention. The first truth that no one has told you is that quick wealth does not come from haste, but from precision. While the desperate rush around in search of easy money, strategists create a system that generates money even while they sleep. It's not about working harder. It's about working with such a clear purpose, with such a well-positioned structure, that money becomes an inevitable consequence. When I started out, still young, working in a cotton factory for a few cents a week, I realized that there were two types of workers: those who waited for orders, and those who watched the owners. I chose to watch the owners. I discovered there that the real speed in building wealth did not come from exhaustion, but from strategic intelligence, and, above all, from the ability to see what most people ignore: the flow of capital. The flow of capital is like an underground river. Those who know where to dig find inexhaustible sources. But to do that, you need to stop thinking like a consumer, and start thinking like a builder. While the world rushes to spend what it earns, the truly wealthy create machines that produce before they even wake up. This is where the transformation of your mind begins. You must become a systems architect, a channel creator, a lever designer. Let me tell you a secret I learned when I was young. The richest men I knew had something in common: they didn't do the work. They created the work. They didn't sell the product. They controlled the chain. They didn't worry about the cost. They controlled the cost. And most importantly, they didn't try to be good at everything. They surrounded themselves with the best. That's the first cog in the fast money machine. Knowing how to build a system where you only do what no one else can do, and delegate the rest to those who do it better than you. You'll never get rich trying to be everything at once. That rush to do everything yourself is the greatest enemy of wealth. Real money, the kind that grows while you breathe, comes from building a structure where every part turns with precision. That structure starts with clarity. What is your real job? What talent do you have that cannot be replaced? The rest should be delegated, automated, or eliminated. When I built Carnegie Steel, I wasn't the one operating the furnaces. I operated the strategy. I chose the leaders. I refined the logistics. While other entrepreneurs worried about the hammer, I was organizing the delivery of rails to railroads across the country. That's the difference between those who build wealth and those who just work hard. The former designs the game. The latter runs through the maze. Now, take a deep breath, because I'm going to show you the exact point where money starts flowing, at a frightening speed, when you stop selling time and start selling results. The world is hungry for results. No one cares how many hours you work. People pay and pay dearly for solutions that work. This means that if you master a process, a service, or a product that delivers real value, you can charge 10 times more and still be in demand. But there's only one way to do this consistently: by mastering a specific pain point. Those who solve a problem that hurts intensely can charge whatever they want. I didn't just make steel. I solved the railroad problem in the United States. I didn't sell iron bars, I sold progress, speed, expansion. If you want to make money fast, you need to stop being generic. Pick a pain, one that burns, one that keeps people up at night, and become a master at solving it. The second gear of accelerated wealth is positioning. You can have the best product in the world, but if it's in the wrong storefront, no one will buy it. The secret here is in 3 words. Attention is capital. Where people's attention is, that's where the money is. So, if you learn how to capture attention and channel that attention to a product or service with real value, the money comes like an avalanche. That's not luck. It's engineering. You need to stop thinking like an employee and start acting like a perception architect. The internet is the greatest distributor of capital in human history, but it doesn't pay those who work hard. It pays those who generate movement. When you create a movement, an idea, a solution that goes viral, money doesn't walk, it runs. And that's why it seems illegal. Because those who have learned to master these codes seem to have supernatural powers, but they don't. They've just learned something that you can learn too. And that's what I'm giving you right now. Do you feel that fire rising inside you? That positive discomfort? That urgency for more? That's the sign that your entrepreneurial spirit is awakening. But it's not enough to feel inspired. Inspiration needs to turn into strategic execution. And that's why in the next section, I'm going to show you the hidden gears that silent millionaires use to turn ideas into capital and capital into freedom. This is where everything speeds up. This is where you start making money at a speed that the world will call luck. Now listen carefully. The world doesn't reward those who know a lot. The world rewards those who know how to apply one thing with intensity, consistency, and speed. While most people spend their entire lives seeking generic knowledge, empire builders choose a single critical skill, sharpen that knife until it cuts through air, and use it as a lever to move mountains. The difference between the worker and the tycoon lies precisely there. Absolute focus on a single point of impact. Do you want to make money so fast it seems illegal? Then stop behaving like a distracted generalist. Choose a skill that solves a specific problem. Position yourself as the undisputed authority on that skill, and build an ecosystem around it. I did it with steel. Others did it with words. Some with technology. Very few with management. But all, those who prospered quickly, did so around a specialization that no one could ignore. What's more, they multiplied that specialization through systems. The system is the secret that transforms sweat into scale. The system is the machine that runs. Without you, the system is what allows one man to earn in a month what others cannot earn in 10 years. And the system begins with a decision to stop thinking like a doer and start acting like a designer. You are the one who draws the rules. You are the one who defines the terrain. You are the one who assembles the gears. But you will only achieve this if you abandon your emotional attachment to control once and for all. Poor people try to control everything. Rich people control the essentials and delegate the rest. This is one of the biggest reality checks you will face. If you want to generate capital quickly, you need to trust your allies. But not just anyone. You need to choose superior talent. Train them with precision, delegate strategically, and demand results with a cool head. During the construction of my empire, my obsession was not to do everything perfectly. It was to find the right men, the best, those who were better than me in every critical area. My job was to choose, trust, and monitor. Quick wealth is not a solitary pursuit. It is always the result of an elite team operating under a clear mission. And that mission is defined by you. Now understand something vital. The speed with which you get rich is directly linked to the speed with which you decide. The slow, the indecisive, those who need emotional reassurance before acting, they are doomed to perpetual mediocrity. While they ponder, empires are built. While they hesitate, opportunities evaporate. While they ask for permission, visionaries are already reaping the rewards. Wealth is a reward for those who act with strategic speed. And acting fast is not acting impulsively, it is acting based on principles. So write this down now. Every empire begins with mastery of cash flow. Until you control a predictable flow of incoming money, everything else is an illusion. It can be a digital product, a subscription, a service. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have something that comes in consistently, without you having to depend on direct effort. That flow is fuel. With it, you buy time. With it, you buy talent. With it, you buy margin for error. And with it, you build the next levels. I see many people talking about financial freedom as if it were an abstract concept. For me, freedom has always been about numbers. It has always been about flow. It has always been about operating margin. And for that, there is a second secret that is rarely talked about: the power of anticipation. Those who profit the most are those who learn to see the money before it arrives. I didn't invest in steel because I liked metal. I saw the movement of the railroads. I saw urbanization. I saw the need for infrastructure. I saw it first, and that's why I profited more. You need to train your eye to predict the direction of the tide before everyone else dives in. That's called vision. And vision is worth billions. But vision without courage is cowardice. You can see what's coming. But if you don't have the courage to act before the world does, you'll watch others reap the rewards of what you only dreamed of. That's why courage is the third cog in the wheel of rapid wealth. And courage is not the absence of fear, it's action in the face of fear. The truly wealthy get used to walking in the dark. They don't wait for guarantees. They act based on clarity of purpose. And here's the fourth secret: leverage. Real money is built with leverage of assets, people, and technology. Leverage is what allows a small movement to generate a huge impact. But only those with a solid foundation can leverage. That's why the foundation comes first. Flow, team, positioning. After that comes expansion. And when you expand with leverage, that's when money starts to seem illegal. Because while others earn by the hour, you earn by results. While they sell effort, you sell scale. While they accumulate fatigue, you accumulate capital. And all of this is the result of structure, not luck. Now, look at your life, right now. Be honest. What's missing? Is it clarity? Is it focus? Is it discipline? Is it courage? Whatever it is, the solution is right in front of you. And it starts with an irrevocable decision to stop living as a consumer and start operating as a creator. From this point on, I want you to write here in the comments what decision you are going to make right now. What gear are you going to shift into high gear starting today? What part of your structure needs to be rebuilt urgently? Because now you know. Now there are no more excuses. Now it is your responsibility to act. You are beginning to see what once seemed impossible is now beginning to reveal itself as pure logic, as long as you have the discipline to apply it. But let me tell you something that definitively separates those who build wealth at an astonishing rate from those who spend their lives trying. The former develop an unshakable mental structure. It's not just about making money fast, it's about keeping your mind steady while it arrives. Because money that comes fast without inner structure is also money that escapes just as fast. The secret lies in inner strength. Emotional control is the foundation of lasting wealth. I've seen brilliant men break because they couldn't contain their euphoria. I've seen visionaries destroy themselves because they acted out of desperation. When everything shook. The empire mind is not shaken by market fluctuations. It does not tremble in the face of calculated risk. It does not freeze when it's time to invest heavily. The empire mind observes. It calculates. It executes. And it does so with a serenity that confuses those who are still trapped in panic. This is not a gift. It is training. It is practical philosophy. It is self-control. And without it, you will never sustain the money you want to attract. Understand something brutal. Wealth is not about accumulating. Wealth is about managing. With growing wisdom, the speed of your rise is directly linked to your ability to make decisions under pressure without losing your center. And that's only possible when you have a clear purpose. I'm not talking about vague dreams. I'm talking about a reason that transcends your personal desire to get rich. You need a reason so big, so powerful, so emotionally profound, that no crisis can divert your focus. When I built libraries, universities, and institutions, I wasn't just handing out money, I was sealing my purpose. True wealth is a mission, a means of collective transformation. And when you understand that, everything changes. Because the force that drives you is no longer the fear of poverty, but the vision of your legacy. And here comes the most overlooked component of financial speed: strategic generosity. Many think that giving is weak, but what few understand is that giving intelligently is planting invisible roots of future prosperity. When you give back to society what it has given you in the form of opportunity, access, impact, you create an invisible network that expands your reputation, your influence, and your ability to do bigger business. But I repeat, generosity is not charity. It is not guilt relief. It is a strategic investment in the ecosystem you want to build. I did not give to feed dependence. I gave to empower, to educate, to transform. True generosity accelerates your wealth because it aligns you with a greater force, with a universal principle of growth. What expands outward returns inward multiplied, and if you still have doubts about this, look at any lasting empire. None were sustained by selfishness. They all had a greater cause that justified their existence. The same goes for you. Do you want to make money so fast that it seems impossible? Then align your actions with a cause so legitimate that no one can ignore it, and watch the universe conspire in your favor. Now, let me open a practical window into your understanding. There are 3 elements that, when combined correctly, accelerate your results in a frightening way: attention, solution, and distribution. If you command the attention of a group of people, solve a problem that this group considers urgent, and have a direct channel to deliver that solution, you are looking at a money machine. Attention is gained through storytelling and consistency. Solutions are built with depth and validation. Distribution is expanded with technology and partnerships. When these 3 pillars are working together, you don't have to beg for sales. They happen. You don't have to chase customers. They come to you. And you don't have to work endless hours. You just operate the machine. But beware, all of this only works if you have the courage to take a stand. Those who are afraid of being judged will never build wealth that has an impact. Those who hide in the crowd will never be remembered. You need to have the audacity to take center stage in your own story. And that comes at a price. You will be criticized. You will be misunderstood. You will be tested. But when you cross that field of resistance, on the other side is the abundance that few dare to touch. And remember, none of this is theory. I lived it, I built it, I transformed it. And now, I am giving you the map. But the map does not carry you, it only shows you the way. You need to walk. You need to decide. You need to execute with military discipline and absolute focus. Now go to the nearest mirror, look into your eyes, and say, in a firm voice, I am responsible for the speed at which my life changes. Say it with conviction, because only when you take 100% responsibility for your evolution does the universe open the way for your ascension. There is a force that separates the ordinary man from the man who touches greatness, and that force is called discipline. But it is not the robotic discipline of those who follow the rules of others. It is the strategic discipline of those who write their own laws. Those who decide, without depending on mood, without negotiating with laziness, without asking permission, from fear. Do want to know how to make money so fast it seems like magic? Then understand this once and for all. Wealth is a routine. It is the result of a set of habits that, repeated with intensity, create an upward spiral. Each disciplined decision lays a brick. Each morning conquered builds a step. Each action, aligned with the vision, accelerates the engine of the empire. There is no magic, there is rhythm, there is method. There is consistency. See. Most people fail, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack consistency. They start strong and die with excuses. They promise themselves the world, but break their inner pact at the first distraction. True wealth only comes to those who build with invisible bricks every day. And those bricks are made of choices. Waking up when no one is looking, planning when no one is demanding it, executing even when there is no motivation. Financial discipline, for example, is a superpower. While many talk about earning more, the silent builders have already mastered the art of multiplying what little they have. It's not how much you earn that determines your destiny. It's what you do with what comes in. When I learned this as a young man, living on pennies a week, I started saving, reinvesting, and studying how money behaved. I made money my servant, never my master. If you don't master your impulses today, you will be mastered by debt tomorrow. If you don't control your emotions today, you will be a slave to catastrophic decisions later. The speed of your growth is directly linked to your ability to wait for the right moment, to contain destructive impulses, to do what is right even when the world calls you to the easy way out. This is the art of invisible construction. What no one sees, what no one applauds, what no one values, but what builds empires. While fools chase appearances, wise men build roots. And these roots, when strong, allow flights that defy logic. Now, understand one of the most dangerous truths I can give you. The modern world has created real shortcuts to generating capital, but these shortcuts only work for those with internal structure. Technologies, digital markets, global distribution systems, all of this allows a good idea, executed with precision, to produce millions in months. Yes, months. But this is not for amateurs. This new world rewards the fast, but punishes the unprepared. If you enter the big game without mental preparation, without emotional control, without a meticulous plan, you will be swallowed up. The same shortcut that leads to success can also throw you into the abyss if you don't have the maturity to sustain the weight. That's why you must prepare yourself like a warrior. Body, mind, spirit, trained, aligned, strong, and that starts with your environment. You need to destroy everything that distracts you. Surround yourself only with what strengthens you. Turn your home into a performance barracks. Your schedule into a precision tool. Your relationships into a fortress of vision. If you want to move fast, you need to cut the weight. People who hold you back, habits that drain your energy, environments that weaken you. All of this needs to be excised with strategic brutality. There is no room for mercy. There is no room for convenience. An empire is not built on fragile feelings. It is built on firm decisions, and within this clean environment, you begin to develop the most powerful weapon of all, relentless execution, because nothing, absolutely nothing, replaces the power of acting every day, with precision, with focus, with clarity. Dreamers live in one day. Achievers live in today. And silent millionaires live in now. Now, take a deep breath. Because I'm going to reveal to you what separates those who merely understand the game from those who actually win it. The code of systematic anticipation. Great builders create mental action agendas. They don't wait for opportunity. They provoke it. They create projects, launch ideas, test markets, build teams, all with the foresight of an architect of the future. You need to think 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. The money you want to make in 6 months should be structured now. The product, the positioning, the partners, the system, all of this should be designed while others are still discussing what they are going to do next Monday. And that requires a new brain, a new mental pattern, a new way of thinking about time. And here comes one of the most underrated levers, the power of repetition. You don't need new ideas every day. You need to apply the same powerful idea with intensity for long enough for it to bear fruit. Most people fail because they give up too soon, because they can't stand the silence at the beginning, because they can't stand the discomfort of the process. But I tell you, if you repeat the right thing, with passion, with method, and with constant adjustments, victory is inevitable. The market rewards consistency. Algorithms reward discipline. Customers trust the predictable. And empires are built with pillars repeated daily until they become monuments. So, my advice now is simple. Choose your weapon. Define your vehicle. Create your routine. Draw up your plan of attack. And execute it with gentle but constant brutality. Day after day, week after week, month after month. No breaks, no excuses, no distractions. Because when you get into that rhythm, something magical happens. Time seems to bend in your favor. Doors start opening with frightening ease. The right connections appear. Capital flows. Recognition comes. And everything starts happening at a speed that seems to defy the laws of nature. But it's not a miracle. It's the science of building. It's empire engineering. It's applied strategy. And you, now, are inside that code, now that you've made it this far. I want you to understand one thing with absolute clarity. The world will continue to say that getting rich quick is suspicious, that building capital fast is luck, that living in abundance is a privilege of the few. They will continue to try to keep the majority in mediocrity, because it is easier to control those who are trapped by a salary, by fear, by a soulless routine. But you are no longer in the majority. You have crossed an invisible line. You now carry within you the mindset of a builder, of a leader, of someone who does not ask permission from reality. You shape it with your own hands. And at this point in the journey, I want to give you the ultimate weapon, the one that closes the cycle of building fast, consistent, and powerful wealth. Absolute intentionality. Nothing in the modern world happens by chance. All accelerated wealth that seems illegal at first glance is actually the result of highly intentional decisions. You need to start each day with absolute clarity about what needs to be done. Every action you take must have a purpose. Every choice you make must carry weight. Every step you take must be a strategic move. The life of an empire does not accept improvisation, it requires orchestration. You need to know what you are building, with whom, how, when, and why. You cannot wake up without a plan. You can't start a project without a clear end in mind. You can't waste a second on tasks that don't generate returns. When I talk about money coming fast, I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about the relentless execution of a surgical plan. I'm talking about operating like a silent, lethal army. About entering the market like a prepared general, with defined targets and calculated margins, and that requires a complete re-education of your mental operating system. You need to stop acting like an amateur and start operating like a professional. Amateurs are easily distracted. Professionals know that every second has a cost. Amateurs react. Professionals anticipate. Amateurs chase. Professionals position themselves before demand arises. The difference is in the mindset. You need to see yourself as the CEO of your life, not as someone trying to survive, but as someone designing, commanding, adjusting, and scaling. This changes everything. It changes your language, your relationships, your conversations, what you tolerate, and most importantly, it changes your results. Because the world responds strongly to those who take a leadership stance. And here's the cruelest detail. No one is going to give you that posture. You have to take it. No one is going to invite you to the top. You have to build the ladder. And that ladder has no handrails. It requires firm footing, clarity of vision, and courage in your heart. Each step is a choice. Each advance is a sacrifice. Each victory is the result of internal battles won in silence. But when you reach the top, oh my friend, when you taste true freedom, the silent power of knowing that you have built something solid, something that generates value, something that multiplies, you understand that it was all worth it. The sacrifice, the discipline, the sleepless nights, the no's you had to say, everything falls into place, everything is justified. Because now, the game has turned around. Now, money works for you. Now, you control time, instead of being a slave to it. And don't think that this means the end of the journey. Quite the contrary. It's the beginning of the mission. Because once you master this code, your responsibility increases. Now you carry a torch. Now you are a reference. Now you inspire. Now you must expand, lead, multiply. That's why I've always believed that the true purpose of wealth is to build bridges. It's to create paths for others to cross. It's to use what you've achieved to educate, elevate, and empower. And when you live like this, when your life becomes a force for construction and expansion, the universe conspires with absurd intensity. Doors open, resources appear. The right people arrive. Because you have become a channel. And at that point, everything that once seemed impossible becomes natural. You start to generate results so far outside the norm, with such consistency, that others will say you are lucky. They will call you blessed. They will try to explain the inexplicable. But you will know the truth. You will know that it wasn't luck, it was decision. It was execution. It was resilience. It was vision. And now, here at the end of our journey, I ask you, what are you going to do with this code? Are you going to let it lie dormant? Are you going to treat it like just another video? Or are you going to use it as a weapon to rewrite your story? The choice is yours. But know this, the clock is ticking. And every minute that passes is an opportunity you can turn into gold or regret. You now know the way. You now carry the plan. You now have the keys. Only one thing remains, to act, and act with strength, with method, with soul, because that's how empires are built. And that's how you make money so fast that the world calls it a miracle, but you know it's just pure efficiency. Now go, and build with honor, with focus, with power, and when they look at you and ask, how did you do it all? You will smile silently and know that it all started here, at this very moment, with a decision. If this has lit a fire inside you, subscribe in this channel and make all these lessons right now.